Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new Elder Scrolls Online Guide video with me, Sherman. Today, guys, we're going to be talking about builds and what they are. See, I get asked all the time, what is a build? Because I'm new to the game. I don't know what a build is. A build is basically I will say it this way in my interpretation, it's a preferred playstyle. Because everything that you do in this game, there's a preferred playstyle. Whether it's PvP, or player versus player, and that could be Battlegrounds, Cyrodiil play, Imperial City play, no CP, CP play. There's a lot of different things that you have to know, like what area of the game are you really playing in PvP, like what are you focusing on, because there's going to be a million different builds that you can make. And then there's player versus environment. There's the PvE environment. That means overland, delves, public dungeons, world bosses, dungeons, and trials. And each of those have different dynamics and different ways to play. Your overland content doesn't require a superior build. It really doesn't. Now, that's doing like the questing in the game, that's doing delves. It doesn't require anything fancy. And even doing public dungeons doesn't require something super fancy. But when you start out, you're going to want to take a group with you. So this way it's more comfortable for you to play through that content. And it's going to be a lot easier for you. World bosses. Those are small group content. 4 or 5 man, maybe 10, depending on the situation. Amount of players to do them. Then there's Dark Anchors, which is another type of group content. And these things, eventually, you can solo most of this stuff. Okay? If you become an experienced knowledge player, you can solo most of the stuff with almost any build. It's just a matter of preferred playstyle. But there is a lot of different content. There's 4-man dungeons, and these require a 4-man group setup. Now, that 4-man group setup just means you need 4 people to complete it. Okay. Now they do give you a tool that explains 4-man group content right here, and this is called the role system. Now the role system is pretty much what it sounds like. You are taking on the role to play as a character, play for your character, whether that's a tank, a healer, or a damage dealer. So a tank has its own role. A healer has its own role. Damage dealers have their own role, and how they work within a group. And a group, roles are used to create balanced groups for certain activities. And that's pretty much what it stands for. Okay? That's what a role does, is allows you to do that. And a build can be made to play a specific role in a specific way. Whether that be a tank in light armor using ice staff, or even a lightning staff, to a tank using heavy armor running a 2-handed axe. Like, there is an option for everything. Now, not only do you have the capability to create a build that does that, but the whole idea of your character starting from level 1 and going to champion level 8-10, which I'm going to get into some guides on champion levels so people understand that. But I'm going to cover that loosely here. So, first off, you've got to level your character from 1 to 50. That's part of your character's progression. During this time, you unlock the maximum amount of attribute points you can put into your character, which is 64. That's part of your build. How you place those attribute points. Whether you put a bunch in health, stamina, magicka, however you place them. Now, there's also skills you unlock. And as you level from 1 to 50. And even beyond, because you can earn skills not just from leveling, but also from sky shards, which collecting 3 sky shards gives you 1 skill point, and then also doing the story quests will give you a skill point, doing all the dungeons gives you skill points, doing trials gives you skill points, doing certain activities in the game gives you skill points. There's a total of 396 skill points you can earn in the game. I could be off by a couple, but I'm pretty sure that's where it is right now, with Elsewhere coming out. So that's a lot of skill points that a player can earn for their character. And those skills that you unlock are both active and passive. So you have a lot of tools that you're going to unlock through skills, active and passive skills. And not only class skills, but also weapon skills, armor skills, world skills, guild skills, alliance war skills, racial skills, and crafting skills. Now, do you need to learn all these skills in order to play the game? No. It's the combination of skills that you use to define your character in whatever role you might be playing. Whether it's a solo build, where you're playing as a role of a solo character within the world, to a farming build that you're using to farm resources so you can craft and sell those items, or to refine those items and sell them, or a solo build that you use for farming gear sets in the overland, because you can't sell pretty much any dungeon sets at all. There are things you can get from dungeons called jewelry sets that you can sell. There's also jewelry sets you can get from PvP that you can sell. And then there are certain sets from one arena you can sell. But everything else you can't sell. Like all the trial sets, all the dungeon sets, all the monster sets, you can't sell those. So you can make a build that's meant to farm everything else to sell. So a build is this. And this is the best way I can explain it. A build is a combination of tools you use to create a dynamic playstyle. That playstyle is a preference of play that you like to play, depending on the role or situation that you play in, whether it be PvE, PvP, solo, small group, it doesn't matter. It's how you build that character to play. And that's what a build is. A build is just that. It's a combination of skills, gear, your equipment itself, the traits, the Mundastones, the enchantments, all that stuff that goes into your character that defines the build. And you can name the build. I mean, a lot of us do who create builds. Like I might create a build called the Paladin. That's a Templar that uses heavy armor, sword, and shield, and is going to be a tank. Or it might be a Paladin that I create for solo play. Or a Paladin I create for small 4-man group play. Or a Paladin I create for PvP. There's a lot of different options that I have available to me to create that idea for what environment and what content they play in. Sometimes people create builds and they play it all the time. They don't care. Sometimes people change their builds based on the different situations or scenarios that they're playing, whether it be PvE, PvP, dungeons, trials, whatever. And that's because we can do that. The game allows us to switch our builds up so we can play in different environments. But a build itself is just a combination of skills, passives, active and passive skills, your equipment, which is light, medium, heavy, armors, your weapons, the enchantments you put on all that gear, the traits you have all that gear in, the Mundus Stone or Mundus Stones you're using, the race and class. That's what a build is. It's a combination of all that stuff combined to create the ideal character you want to play. Now, is there good and bad builds? Yes. There's always going to be good and bad builds. And some bad builds can be good for other people, but bad for others because of how they perceive it or how they see it. Because to them, it's not as effective as this build or that build. And you're going to get that all the time. Because everyone has a different play style or preference of play that they like to play by. Like myself. I like to play tanks. And I don't play that many tanks anymore. I play one right now on live. Two. Take that back. I play 2 tanks. I play an ice staff tank and I play a 2-handed tank. And both of them are heavy armor tanks. But somebody introduced me to this idea and I fell in love instantly with this build. Now this isn't my own build. It is, but it isn't. It's my own build because I altered their build to fit the playstyle I wanted for this build. But it's somebody else's build. And I took the idea and adjusted it to fit my playstyle. Because that's what a build is. A build is an idea. And it's an idea that you can share with others. And then others can take that idea and alter it to give their preference of play, put their preference of play into it so they can play it how they want. Because that's what ESO is really all about, is playing how you want. And a build is just an idea that somebody creates to play how they want, that they share with the community. And then that build becomes more or less depending on who's using it. Like for the creator, the build can be easy to play. But for a new person playing it, it can be really challenging and difficult because they're not used to that play style. But they like the idea of its play, so they try to play it, and then they find out they really like it, but it's just difficult to learn because it's a new play style they've never played before. And that's what this game is truly about, is having the ability to build that character the way you want, and then play it how you want. So what is a build? A build is just a combination of different things put together to create the ideal play style that you like to play, or even the best play style for the game, or for doing trials or dungeons or whatever you want. There is so many different play styles, it's not even funny because everyone's different. Somebody might like to play a light armor two-handed DPS person not because they can, but because that's what they like to play. That's their play style. That's their preferred play style. And there's nothing in the game that says you cannot play that way. Now, the passives and different benefits that you get from that might alter how you play, but at the same time, it could be even for a positive, because you might use a magic enchant on that weapon, but still use it as a two-handed stamina weapon. But magic enchant. You might use some magic abilities. Who knows? Because it's their build. It's their character. They're playing it how they want. And like I said, everyone's going to have a preference. Everyone's going to have their own idea on what they think is best, or what is best. And there is some ways you can create the best build. Because you put it together to make it the best it possibly can be, and it can't get any better unless somebody adds a gear set that makes it better, or they add something to the game that makes it better. But otherwise, it's pretty much the best it can be. And yeah, builds can be a lot of fun. Creating all different kinds of having all these tools to create all these different builds can be a lot of fun, but it can be really overwhelming to a lot of people because they're not used to this play system. Because this game uses a different system than a lot of other MMORPGs. So it can be really overwhelming in figuring all that stuff out. There's a lot of good content creators out there that show you builds, and they discuss a lot of content, and they discuss a lot of things about the game, and I want to share some of those with you guys. So first off, to the creator of this build, the guy's name is Neil Walsh on YouTube. You guys can check below in the link. Or links, there will be links in the description below. You guys can check them out. Neil Walsh is one of them. He is the one who created this build originally. It's called the Morridune build, and I just changed it to the Bogan tank because I just changed the idea from what he had to what I wanted to play. And I didn't want to take his name and be like, oh, I'm going to call it the Morridune 2. That would be kind of rude. So I changed the name to give it a different play style, because it is a different play style from his. And I want to say this, I have not had this much fun playing a new character in a long time. Like, I have 11 characters online, and I love playing all of them on the live server. But when I got a hold of this build, I played it for 18 hours straight almost. Like, I started playing it at like 8:30 in the morning, 9:30 in the morning, my time. I didn't quit until 12 that night. So I played a little over 13 hours, I think, with it, and then the next day I got on to do a video, and I couldn't get off the build. I couldn't stop playing it because I liked it so much. I love the dynamic of it. But if you guys check the link in the description below, you guys can go check out his channel. He's got a lot of really great play how you want builds. Also, in the link in the description below is to another person called Morridune. He does a lot of builds, and I'm going to share a few other people. So, Also below is a person named Xynode. He is another content creator for ESO. Really great content creator for builds and stuff. I love his ideas and stuff, even though I don't share his play styles a lot of the time. I do like his ideas, and I think that some people might as well. Also check out Dottz Gaming, Alcast, and Alcast is a fantastic content creator for the game. He's also one of the class reps for ESO, and he's got a lot of great content on his channel. Also check out Asian God. He does a lot of math behind the game, so if you're looking for that the way to perfect your play style, go check out his channel, because he breaks the math down really well with a lot of different gear sets, a lot of different just math in general, and he's very knowledgeable. So go check out his stuff. Also check out the forums, because there's a lot of people on the forums too that do a lot of different things. There's Joy Division, there's Miss Bizz is another YouTube content creator and streamer. There is I'm not going to remember everybody, but there's going to be a lot of links below with names above them, guys, to a lot of content creators. You guys can go check them all out. There is so many content creators out there. I'm not going to put them all. I'm just going to put the ones that I know, that I follow the most. And if you guys want to check out their stuff, sometimes you can also check out the people who do similar stuff to theirs, and you guys can check out their content. But there is a lot of content creators out there that do a lot of really good for this community in what they do. And even though, like I said, we might not all agree on how we do things and the things we share and the idea behind the game, we all are content creators. We're all here to work and help the community grow to be better. And that's it. So check out all those links, and thanks for checking out this video. And that's pretty much it. So, to all of you that watched, you know what's coming next. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you guys want to see more videos by me, you can subscribe. Other than that, I want to thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a wonderful day. And this guy might see you in game. Bye.